Good morning and welcome to day two of the Democratic National Convention from Chicago. This is our second episode of About Last Night, and we're all actually here. Hey Danielle, welcome to our temporary home in Chicago.
Thank you.
So what we're going to do is just talk about what we thought the highlights were of last night's first full day of the convention. It was an amazing roster of speakers, minimum controversy, I thought. And I'll start with my one highlight. Danielle got here. It only took I don't know what, like 72. You could have walked, is what I'm saying.
Basically, somebody said to me on Twitter, they said, you should have just driven with Mary. They're like, because that's how long it took you to finally, because my flight was canceled on Sunday and I had a 5-hour delay yesterday. So if you factor that all in, we could have done a Thelma and Louise, except not go over the cliff.
You know, I actually thought of that too late, but I did think of it. I'm like not even human anymore. Why didn't I say, hey, Danielle, drive to Chicago with me? I think part of it is I just who would want to be in a car with me for 12 hours? But, I don't know.
Wait a second.
Think about it.
Wait a second, you guys. I just realized if Mary had not driven, she wouldn't have gotten here.
No, she wouldn't.
Holy fuck. It would have been me. Okay.
Oh, well.
I don't usually cross myself being a Jew, but oh my God.
Well,
I had to because I could not have held this down, Mary, on my own. Oh my God.
Okay, well, we're all here, Danielle. It's great. It's really happy that you're here because I have to be honest with you. I didn't think you were going to make it last night.
Yeah,
I really didn't.
Yeah, I was. It was unclear, but
it's unclear.
I want to thank everybody who sent so many good travel vibrations, so many prayers to me. So it was really, everyone was like, yes, we're getting to Chicago. My mom and my girlfriend are like, come hell or high water, you are getting to Chicago. So I got here and so far, I started crying from when I landed. I actually want to say, Jen, when you said yesterday that you were going to need tissues, I was like, what is she talking about? Maybe she's just very emotional. I was in the taxi looking at the skyline, red, white, and blue, and I started crying. And I was like, is it the full moon? Also that. But yeah.
Yeah. So Danielle, how did you experience night one?
So night one for me. So it's first of all,
let me be more clear. I mean that not just
my travel, right?
Like literally.
Yeah. No, I want to say first, and this is it's not even a plug, but it can be used as one. Thank God for the live stream on here, because without it, I actually would not have been able to watch. So, so I was watching. Before I took off, there was crappy Wi-Fi on the plane, but when I landed, my taxi driver had the live stream mounted in the car and was watching it, and the audio was coming through. So my ride in downtown was, I got into the car and guess who hit the stage? Jasmine Crockett.
There you go.
And I was like,
timing.
I have arrived.
Oh my God.
I was in the back seat and just saying, yeah, that's right. Tell him. She was amazing. She was absolutely amazing. So that was my first, my first speaker that I was able to listen to. And I think we have a clip of her, the clip that got me. I'm not sure, but if we do, we should play.
The Chaos Caucus couldn't elect the speaker, and the Oversight Committee was unhinged. I was going through all of this when I visited the Vice President's residence for the first time. As I approached Vice President Harris for our official photo, she turned to me and asked, "What's wrong?" Mind you, we'd never met, but she saw right through me. She saw the distress. I immediately began crying. And the most powerful woman in the world wiped my tears and listened.
And this, he was like started to cry, and I started to tear up, because you know what those moments feel like when somebody sees you.
It's so hard for me to tell this story. She then said, among other things, "You are exactly where God wants you. Your district chose you because they believe in you, and so do I."
Yeah. I was
Danielle, that's what so much of this is about, is people, particularly Black women, feeling seen and represented for the first time. And we'll get to this a little bit later, but I thought Hillary Clinton spoke very eloquently about the cracks in the glass ceiling and what's on the other side of it. And she played that role for many people in 2016. And it feels like we've come light years from then. So, yeah, that was pretty extraordinary. Plus, of course, the contrast, which we'll also get to in a second. Right. But Jen, I just quickly want to get your highlight of the night. I'll give mine, and then we can just sort of have a more general conversation about what this convention represents, and again, the contrast that, in my mind, is like the only argument we need to be making anymore.
Yeah, I guess two things. One is that contrast. I mean, last night's theme was for the people, and of course, I know folks remember this, but I just want to repeat something Hillary Clinton said last night, that Kamala Harris, when she was a federal prosecutor, would stand up before, greet the jury and say, "My name is Kamala Harris, and I'm here for the people." And that is a broader message about her life. It was Hillary who said that. And I guess my two highlights were, well, Hillary, and I know we're going to get to that clip, so I won't go into that. But like Danielle, that was my moment. I mean, my moment, of course, with Jasmine Crockett tearing up, I was feeling that. But also when Hillary talked about her mother and Kamala's mother, and if they had been here to see them, and took this pivot, because at first you're thinking what she's going to say. You feel it, like these women have climbed so high with these mothers who didn't see their daughters, and you can feel it. I'm a mother, and I'm a daughter, and just the weight of that, of how proud they could have been and couldn't have been there for that moment. But then Hillary took this turn and said, and what they would say right now is keep going. Because that's the other side of being a strong, resilient woman. We got our tears, but we don't have time for tears. We need to fucking fight, because they're taking everything away that we fought for. And I guess the other moment, and it's hard for me to talk about, but the courage of the people who spoke about the need for abortion rights, in particular, the young woman who had to discuss, and trigger warning here, being the victim of incest as a 12-year-old and being pregnant. And for the first time in her life, when she was pregnant, she sought help to get an abortion. It was the first time she knew she had a choice. And watching her struggle to get through that, I've never seen someone so brave. And what she is doing for all of us, I can't even speak to it, because I would never get up there and do that myself. And I thank her for that. So those were, I had a lot of emotional moments, but it was an emotional roller coaster, because I was feeling all the vibes. I was so happy. And then I would sometimes just cry. And I would, anyway, so those are my highlights, Mary.
Yeah, it was extremely powerful. It's a convention, so it's a bit of a mixed bag. A lot of dues need to be paid. So we have some not particularly rousing speakers, but that's okay. We're all on the same page, which is nice. Like, just knowing that after just probably the greatest divisions in this country since the Civil War, which were created by one friggin' person this time. There's what seems to be seamless unity. I don't remember who it was, but sort of a description of some last night from some columnist, and it was, unity, but some anxiety or something like that. Like, where was the anxiety? There was no anxiety in there in the context of the Democratic Party. Anxiety, yes, about what happens if we don't pull this thing off, but that's a different thing. So it was that I found that to be another thing we're fighting against. This pull in the corporate media to keep it horse racy. Because if you're paying attention to what's really going on, this should not even be a contest anymore. I'm going to say something counterintuitive, which I'm going to be exploring as the week continues. I found much of this evening sort of shot through with grief. With this redemptive possibility, but that was particularly pronounced when Secretary Clinton was speaking. I supported her vehemently from the very beginning, the first time she ran, and to see her get up and give what I thought was the speech of her life, to pass the torch she never got to hold.
That's right. That's right. That's what I felt. Yep.
It broke me a little bit. But then again, I break a little bit every time I see her, because I think because what happened to her in 2016 was so wrapped up in my own personal feelings about what happened in 2016. So she's sort of this extraordinary embodiment of somebody of resilience, and somebody who comes through these sort of unimaginable trials and yet stands up for other people. I just found it very complicated. But let's take a look at some of what Hillary Clinton had to say last night.
I see the freedom to look our children in the eye and say, in America, you can go as far as your hard work and talent will take you, and mean it. And you know what? On the other side of that glass ceiling is Kamala Harris raising her hand and taking the oath of office as our 47th President of the United States. Because, my friends, when a barrier falls for one of us, it falls. It falls and clears the way for all of us. So for the next 78 days, we need to work harder than we ever have. We need to beat back the dangers that Trump and his allies pose to the rule of law and our way of life. Don't get distracted or complacent. Talk to your friends and neighbors. Volunteer. Be proud champions for the truth and for the country that we all love. I want my grandchildren and their grandchildren to know I was here at this moment, that we were here, and that we were with Kamala Harris every step of the way. This is our time, America. This is when we stand up. This is when we break through. The future is here. It's in our grasp. Let's go win it.
Love, love, love.
And then they played her song, and that wrecked me.
I just am a little worried about playing the song, but
We can strip it out.
It
We can strip
was,
it out.
yeah, I mean, to be there, just first of all, or also, thank you, Adam Parkamengo, fellow Nerd Avenger, for making this happen. That, we're all here because of all of the work he's been doing behind the scenes. And yeah, I mean, we've been living through history for a long time now. And up until very recently, it has felt like a curse. So Danielle, it's nice that we're living through a different kind of history now, and I think one of the reasons Hillary Clinton's speech resonated so powerfully was because on the one hand, you just marvel at how somebody can go through what she went through, which in many ways is a stand-in for what other women have been through historically in America, and get back up and again represent, get back up knowing that she will never get what was stolen from her, but continuing to fight the fight, but then also being reminded we don't have a choice. This is what we need to keep doing if we want what's on the other side of that ceiling.
Yeah, there are a couple of things that come up for me that are just so resonant. One, I was reminded, and I said this this morning to a candidate that I am media training to win Congress, but I said I haven't felt patriotic in years, right? And it is something that has made me so angry about MAGA Republicans and Donald Trump, is that they stole my patriotism from me, my belief in the possibility of this country. It is not perfect, but what makes America different is that so many things, so many stories, so many people are possible because of our shared values and our virtues. And listening to Hillary Clinton speak last night, it was almost as if she's talking about Kamala Harris as if Kamala Harris is like one of her daughters. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean like one of her, like Chelsea. I mean one of her daughters that had she not, right, decided to show up as her full self when she was First Lady in Arkansas, when she was First Lady of the United States, as Secretary of State, and then, accepting the nomination, this wouldn't be possible. Right. And so it wasn't so much like, I feel like she has this sense of pride when she is speaking, like you can feel it. It is not something that is scripted, how we've always said that Hillary Clinton has been too scripted, too boxed in, or what have you. Like, this was so beautiful. And I think, Jen, to the point that Hillary Clinton will never have this moment, right, of being Madam President. And I pray that we get there, right, in 77 days, right? But the fact is that there are so many Black women and women of color who never get to experience the fullness of who they are because of how society has stripped us from our possibility. And so for this white woman to be passing this torch and having made a million cracks in that glass ceiling for this Black and Indian woman to push through, to me, like, that's America. Yeah. That's what makes this country extraordinary.
Yeah. And Jen, to Danielle's point about patriotism, it's something I'm very uncomfortable with, because I had you and I, because we're Gen X, and this is our week. Do not forget that.
Hell yes, it is.
I think that I'm not Gen X. like you have a club. I'm in it too.
No, I know, but like I'm the oldest you can be and still be Gen X, and I think you're the youngest you can be and still be Gen X. So we're.
And Kamala is on the cusp. I mean, October is pretty fucking close to January.
But this is she's a year older than I am. But I guess, Danielle, my point is, we grew up in a different decade.
Yeah.
So we had the great misfortune of becoming of political age when Reagan was destroying the country. So, and, is largely responsible for the jingoism and, co-opting the flag while killing gay people with his indifference and contempt, So, I'm still sort of wildly uncomfortable with it, but this is an opportunity to change that narrative as well, Jen.
Yeah, I mean, I think yes. When you look at it through the lens of our childhoods, I don't even remember Lyndon Johnson. So my first memory of an election, my first memory would have been Nixon.
Yeah, my first political memory is Watergate.
Me
and
too.
Just because it was on the radio all the time and it bored me to tears because I didn't know what it was.
So, my first memory, we've gone through all of it, right? We've gone through the Watergate, which for me was a very different experience than either sort of there's a Watergate, there's the Reagan, and then,
Vietnam was also kind of.
Right. But I was more of a I'm a couple years
But something
younger.
else we didn't understand, right?
Right. We didn't understand. And so, but what I do know is when I look at the difference between where we are now through the lens both of Nixon's shaming the country versus Donald's shaming the country, is that with Nixon, I'll never forget that the Republicans came together and said, get the fuck out. And here they said, you got more of this? We want more of this. And, the difference too is I thought Nixon was the worst person in the world, and yet he's the one who helped bring in the environmental regulations. I mean, it's and then we thought Reagan's the worst guy in the world, but he actually was much more reasonable than Donald. And I'm watching the difference with the Democratic Party get more and more and more progressive. And as the parties kind of pull apart, that is why we're polarized. There's other reasons. Corporate media does this, drives it. But where we are now, to me, is this huge inflection point. Like, if we can do this, can we at least say it's the last gasp of this kind of racist, sexist, jingoism, division? There's going to always be people on the fringe. I just don't want the fringe running the fucking country. And what Danielle said, just to say, which is, I am profoundly moved by the way you described who Hillary was passing the torch to. And what I love about it is instead of a white woman saying, you know what, we'll get to you later. First, we'll get it. It's like, no, it's like her time is gone. Let's keep moving. Keep going. We're not going to go, well, wait. And this is the candidate. This is the fucking moment. And all of it. Like, I also think, given we are pushing for the multiracial democracy, but I think that white women look at women more holistically. This idea of intersectionality allows us to say, stop othering people. She is one of us, all of us. We all are Kamala, right? And I want to be in that place. So it's both this unique moment, and it's also this, can we all say, this is our democracy, and push aside the sadness and get healed? Because we don't heal until MAGA is in the dust. We don't heal until Donald Trump is disgraced in living in a shack next to Maduro in Venezuela. Like, get him the fuck out of here.
Prison would be better, but whatever.
I don't want him even in America. I want him fucking gone, like any other person who staged a coup against our country. But that's me. Okay.
So yeah, he needs to go away. I want to go a little deeper into the contrast of the the parties, the conventions, the visions, to the extent that the right has a vision. Well, it does. It's dystopian and terrifying AF. But there's another contrast, I think, that's even more important to Donald Trump, and we need to highlight it at every opportunity. Let's check out the crowd last night, shall we?
That was from your seat, right, Mary? That's not canned, right? That's you.
Yeah, that was where we were sitting. I knew this was going to happen. We got there early, and it was maybe 70% full by 5 o'clock. and I said, this is, somebody's going to take a picture of this and post it on Twitter as if that's the height of the Democratic convention. Lo and behold, that's exactly what they did. So because we try to tell the truth here, get the facts straight, it looked like the video we just showed you. I mean, it wasn't just the number of people there; it was the energy. And and quickly, we have to wrap up soon, so I want to get everybody's last thoughts before we head into night 2, which I believe the highlight of which is both Michelle and Barack Obama are speaking tonight.
Yeah.
One of the things that, I don't know, it felt like justice to me is that both Hillary Clinton and President Joe Biden got extended ovations, repeated ovations, and it made me feel a little better about things, I have to say. Okay, so Danielle, what do you either something else about last night, or what are you looking forward to as we head into night 2?
Okay, well, quickly, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you
in person.
In
Yeah,
person.
that would be
don't say what floor you're on camera, but I'll come see you.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in person and like actually squeezing you. But quickly, I will say my last highlight of last night was Joe Biden reading the lyrics, "America, I gave you my best." I lost it. And it was beautiful. And tonight, I'm just looking forward to feeling the energy of actually being in the space, because it looked just incredible. And I know how I felt watching it. So being in it, I'm excited for that.
Fabulous.
Song is called American Anthem.
Oh, sorry.
There's one verse that stands out, and I can't sing worth a damn, so I'm not going to try. I'll just quote it. The work and prayers of centuries have brought us to this day. What shall our legacy be? What will our children say? Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, America, I gave my best to you.
Yep. It was
There it is.
Quite a speech. Anyway, Jen, I apologize. I forgot the video was coming. So
I mean, no apology necessary.
right, then I'll take it back.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Bitch, don't apologize to me. There'll be more. I need to apologize to you after the wild goose chase we went on yesterday.
Yeah, well, that's a conversation for another time.
Guys, let's not
Danielle,
talk about that.
Don't go anywhere with Jen if she pretends to know where she's going.
Or
That's
she's
my advice.
texting while walking. It's all bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that was the thing that, in parallel is, Joe Biden also paving the way for the future by doing something no one has ever done, I think, in the history of the world, maybe other than George Washington, which is to actually let go of power in the way that he did. And he did it. He had to be convinced of it. And I really think, and I will go to my grave saying this, he wasn't as stubborn as people think. He was making sure this wasn't a shit show after he stepped down. He was waiting to see the internal polls for Harris. I don't have inside information on that. I'm not saying that. But I was watching this unfold. And the minute I got home from Atlanta, and Michael can vouch for this, I said, I'm going to support the Biden-Harris ticket until Joe is ready to step aside. But I will tell you, he will. And Michael and I knew it would happen, but I was consistent. But he was waiting. We didn't want that crazy fucking speed dating. That would have destroyed the party.
Yep.
So the genius of this was the right time, the right heart, and all this coming together. And Joe doing this saved America, saved democracy, saved our party, and also was a gift to women in this way. and his credibility in my heart that he was able to be the VP, a white man, for Barack Obama, and then continue this this multiracial democracy and show us for ourselves sometimes it's okay to let go and let others lead.
Absolutely. And I have always thought of President Biden as being a totally straight shooter. There is no way he could feign the support and enthusiasm for Vice President Harris that he's showing. No way. So I, like you, Jen, never believed that this was capitulation. I choose to believe that this was just master strategy on the parts of everybody involved. And to all the white people who were losing their minds and saying it was going to be an open convention and suggesting that it should be anybody but Kamala Harris, you were so wrong. And I'm so happy to say that. So again, thank you, President Biden, for saving this country
Again.
from fascism again and again now by putting your faith and trust in a leader who will bring this country to an entirely new place that most of us never believed it would get to in our lifetimes. So that is our wrap of day one. We are off to experience day two. So we will be sending dispatches via all of our different social media platforms through the day. We'll have more videos on YouTube. And yeah, it's wild being here. So again, it's fabulous to be able to share it with all of you watching. And it's just an incredible honor to be here in person with my Nerd Avengers. So Danielle, welcome again. I'm so happy you're still not in an airport waiting lounge. Jen, Mercedes, thanks for continuing to pull off this Herculean effort. And please subscribe to our channel. I remembered this time. Look at me go. Seriously, we're trying to build our subscribership, and we can't do that without you either. So this is a great week to do that. Just means you're going to be alerted. Oh, and look at our Mary Trump Media mug. Don't vote for fascists. For those of you who are around people who need to be reminded of that, the mug is subtle. It's elegant.
It's demure.
It's timeless.
Demure.
It's very demure, very mindful.
Very mindful.
It fits well in one's hand.
It's rad.
It's also has the benefit of being accurate. Don't vote for fascists. Okay, so so check out our merch, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you very soon from Chicago. In the meantime, stay safe, be kind, and be Democrats. See you guys later. Bye.